hottest show in Plano, Texas, MissInformed, with yours truly, Missy Lou. Today, we are on location, and we have a very special guest, an author. Good morning, Stacy.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to speak with you. Now, you're not just an author.
No.
Let's talk a little bit about who you are and what led you to even write a book and exactly what this book is about.
Okay, that's a loaded question. I am a real estate agent. That's how we actually connected, right? I'm also a mom of 4, a grandmother of 6. I really wrote the book because I felt like at some point in my life I just kind of looked back and I was really thinking about, how I feel very blessed. But I really went through some difficult times early on, and I felt like sharing those stories might help other women who are dealing with some of the same things, or maybe it's not even the exact same thing, but just dealing with, difficulties. And I thought maybe sharing my stories could help them.
As a woman myself, I have gone through the ringer, especially with men. They're exhausted. Am I right?
Amen.
And then the kids. Whew.
Yeah.
So I really, really appreciate it. I was able to grab the book ahead of time, and I didn't read all of it. I probably got to I'll tell you right where I got. Maybe like the 3rd or the 4th one.
Uh-huh.
I missed when God is in control. I didn't get that far. And then I jumped ahead, but it immediately grabbed me with your experiences, and then it really prompted me to want to dive in and do the reading in the Bible. And normally whenever I do my devotionals, I'm kind of like, okay, Jesus, what do you want? I'm that person. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you were able to give me stories in the beginning, I just felt like I knew you and I was connecting with you, and I felt like we were friends. I love the way you wrote it, and I love that it's shorter for the girl on the go, because I'm going to be able to actually finish this, and I'll be able to say, this is a book I read this year.
Right.
But, even in the beginning, and I got to tell you, from what I read, I could not imagine, because I have a 20-month-old little boy, and when you told me about the little girl coming down the hallway and not being able to walk and trying to reach for you, I'm tearing up right now. It really just, I couldn't imagine what that was like. And I absolutely would have put everybody around me on pause and just fought tooth and nail. So I really felt that with you. I was, I felt like I was part of the journey with you. So I appreciate you and your heart. And, I think a lot of it has to do with your upbringing. I think that has a lot to do with what molds us as women. And when we have foundation, built in a church, sure, it can get kind of political,
right,
or gossipy,
sure.
But I think that it really helps with the foundation.
It does. I think that having the foundation is important, but then having that relationship, that as you grow and you go through things like this, that's really what solidifies, I think, really your faith and really grows you. And so I think that, and I love hearing that some of the stories resonated with you. I've heard that from several people, and it's really been a blessing to me. Didn't really even expect that, but it's been an unexpected, blessing, just to hear how God has used the book to bring some of the ladies that I know who had kind of stopped reading the Bible or hadn't really been in it for a long time, and they said that it's really helped them to kind of get back into their Bible and reading through those stories and reading through the Bible stories, and so that's really been special.
And it did. To be honest with you, aside from church, I've been such a busybody that I haven't opened up my Bible at home probably in over 2 years, and I did because of this.
I love that.
Cool,
I love that.
I feel like I couldn't give you a better compliment.
No, I 100% agree, because the reason I wrote it as a devotional is that I wanted to share my stories, but I didn't really want it to be about me, because I really want it to be about this is what God did for me. This is how God showed up for me, and how He can do the same for you and for everyone. And so I think that's really what I wanted to come across in the book.
And the fact that you're so genuine, and we're the society that we're in and the area that we're in. This is Frisco. Things are a little bit different, and we might be a little bit more reserved, bite our tongue more, and focus on our appearances a little bit. So it was very refreshing to have somebody be as raw as you are and just kind of lay it all out there. it helped me identify with you more, and it grew me closer to you as the writer as I was going through it. And I haven't even gone through half of it, you know. And I intend on finishing it, but I haven't even gone through half of it. But I'm excited to, and I just gotta know: is there any? I know you should buy the book. It's on Amazon, and you can go to Amazon to get it. What was the hardest thing to write? That's what I know. What was the hardest thing to put in this book?
Okay, so probably the hardest part for me was to write about the abuse, the domestic abuse, because I'm not really a person that you would expect that to happen to. And I'm sure everybody who goes through it feels that way, because you're like, what is happening right now? And, you know, when we were dating and everything, it never even showed that he could be that way. My first husband, yeah, and I never thought that he could turn that way. And then it just, you know, it took a turn, and it became one of those, you know, don't talk, you're not supposed to talk kind of things. And I'm not that person. So you tell me not to talk, I'm going to talk louder. So that became, you know, a real issue. And that was the hardest thing for me to actually work through, because while the abuse was sometimes physical, the majority of it was emotional and mental and just verbal. And so, but getting out of that situation, you know, when I left, I was so broken, and I felt, I believed all the things that he said about me, that they were true. I was unlovable, and I was stupid. All the things that he told me, I really had internalized that and believed that. And so God really had some work to do to bring me back to who I was before. And I mean, I don't think you're ever 100% the way you were, but I think that you can actually grow and learn and hopefully turn around and help other people when you go through things like that. But that was definitely when I started writing through that, I really had to almost experience it again, you know, like just kind of have to go back through it again. And so there were some tears. That was hard to write.
Yeah, because I totally get that, reliving the scenes again, and I could only imagine what that's like. And I mean, the fear is somebody who's experienced abuse, thinking like, what's going to happen for me putting this out there? What's going to happen? Like, is there going to be any repercussion? Is somebody going to come out of the woodwork? And you know, so I do understand that. You know, the reason that I started this show 10 years ago was because I was in an abusive relationship with a gentleman when I was younger, in my early 20s, and he made me believe that I was so stupid that it was best for me not to speak so people wouldn't know how dumb I am. And I mean, it got to a point where it was so bad, I truly, honestly believed him. And so it took a lot of growing myself. And you know, as women, we are strong, multitasking, and capable of anything with Jesus. Right. And so here I am with you on camera right now, saying, "How about them apples?" You know, so I love the power that you harnessed, and the journey that has not just you've had to experience, but you've experienced and thrived from it. You've grown, and I think the fact that you're so genuine, I can only imagine what it's like to work with you as a realtor. You know, how long have you been a realtor?
I have been a realtor for 5 years, and I do paint the picture, and I do tell it like it is, because I don't want surprises. You know, I want them to know everything that I know. Yeah,
that's absolutely wonderful. 5 years, goodness. So you've been doing it long enough to where you probably have a good handle on what you're doing.
I feel like I do. I feel like it.
Let's talk a little bit about the company that you're with, and kind of what we can expect if somebody out there is watching and might be inclined to use you as a realtor.
Okay. Well, my company, Century 21 Judge Fite, I absolutely love the culture and the company. The reason that I came was actually to be on a team with a top producing realtor, but the reason that I stayed once I went off on my own was because, you know, the people who are from the top down, you know, they believe in what they do. They are honest. They have integrity, and I think that they have the same values that I hold. And so I think that that's really important, because in this industry, there's a lot of opportunity to make choices that may not be in everyone else's best interest. And I think it's important that you have people that are holding you, you know, accountable from the top.
Golly, so you hear that? She's got integrity. And that is very hard to find in the industry. I know a slew of realtors, and it is hard to find people. I mean, I feel like for the most part, we all do what we're supposed to do in the industry, but I mean, there's some salon balls out there, and if you're nervous, I'm talking about you. But I think that it's very difficult, and I don't think a lot of people realize what you do on a day-to-day basis as a realtor. And I think it's important to celebrate small wins, but I also think that it's important to celebrate this author. Celebrate. The key word.
Look at that.
And so we're gonna see if I can open this without popping you in the
Oh,
eye.
that'd
Would you
be
like
great.
to?
I wore my glasses.
Oh, all right. Well, tricked you. I'd like to take a cheers with you. Do you drink in the morning? Well, you're a realtor. That's a stupid question. I tell you what, we're cheers
Not
to Jesus.
typically,
No.
but for this, I will. I absolutely will.
Well, I have a leather jacket, so you know I'm like, cool.
Okay.
And let's just do a little cheers.
All right.
If you are somebody that is interested in purchasing this book, you can get it on Amazon. It really is a great read. I'm not somebody that gets to read a lot. I'm more of an audiobook. But I mean, so with the 2-year-old, I'm doing the bedtime stories. So we read books about numbers, and then we're reading books about animals, and then I was sneaking in a chapter of this on him, and then we're going back to the animals. And then he goes to bed. So, I mean, we're getting through it little by little, but I am grateful for it. And let's just cheers to the success of the book and your real estate this year.
Thank you so much.
Here, here.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's champagne in the morning. Very much so. So, what are your goals for the 2024? I mean, are you going to try to write something else? I just really enjoyed what I've got. I mean, can I expect something else?
Actually, I do have a couple of ideas, and I have I haven't started, and I haven't done the whole thing, but I really would love to write something that moms and their kids can read together.
Oh,
and so that's kind of my next project.
I'm already doing it with this one.
Yeah.
I love that. You know what else? If I could put something in the box, like a ask box, I would love to see something for somebody walking with Christianity and in real estate. What it's like having to go through that battle and trying to, go through that. So it's because I love the way you write.
I do want to do a real estate book as well, because I do think that it could be helpful for people to kind of walk them through that. So that's a good idea.
Judge Fite just wrote a book.
Yes.
And I haven't read that one. I started in yours first. Sorry. I'll get to yours maybe, but I'm going to finish this one. But I know that he was saying, survive until 2005 is kind of the motto. We're supposed to be experiencing a rough year, not as rough as the previous year, but it's supposed to still be rocky. Do you have any insight on the market, since you're probably closer to him than I am? What can you tell me?
Well, I can tell you that my January has started off like gangbusters, and I've had people, because the interest rates have dipped, I've had people reaching out and wanting to go and look. So I've had listings,
Buyers?
I've had buyers, I have 2 under contract. I just got 1 under contract this morning. So I do see that. I mean, I'm very optimistic and hopeful that it's an election year. Typically in an election year, we see the interest rates dip. So I think that the people who've been kind of waiting on the sidelines, they can jump in now and kind of feel a little more confident, and maybe even buy down a point if they feel like they need to. But I personally am thinking I'm going to have a good year. I'm expecting a great year.
Especially if you're off to a good start when it's cold like this. So do you have any idea what the interest rates are looking like? You said you just went under contract. You've probably been speaking with a lender. What are the interest rates looking like right now?
They were in the low 6s, in the 6.2 range.
Are you doing
like
bidding wars? Is there anything like that yet?
One of the properties that we looked at, actually 2 of them received multiple offers.
What town?
We didn't offer on Richland Hills.
Ooh,
we didn't bid on those. They actually chose a different home that they liked, but we actually got it under list.
What, really? Well, that's a good realtor if I've ever seen one. Getting it under, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So we're anticipating a pretty good market. So you might have to put that in the book that Mr. Fite, he thought survive until there, but maybe we're thriving until then, So that's pretty exciting.
At least until the election, I think we'll see some movement. you know, he probably knows better than me. I'm just saying.
I don't know, you sound
that
very smart.
what I'm personally experiencing is people calling and asking and getting very interested and wanting to jump in as soon as they feel comfortable that the rates are going to hold long enough for them to find something.
I think that the market as a whole, you know, could obviously, you know, take a hit, and we could go through some issues because of the interest rate and things of that nature, like we have been this past couple, I guess last quarter. But I believe that Dallas is a nucleus, and there's always going to be movement here. Even when it hit back in 08, 09, it wasn't that bad in Dallas. And I think that's because, you know, we're a hub. People come here for business. People come here to work. They're going to be coming here regardless. So I don't feel like we're ever going to get hit as hard as, say, other states. I think it's, or even other, you know, counties. I think we're almost in a bubble a little bit of protection because we have the business thriving here. And speaking of Frisco, they've got a Universal Studios or something along those lines coming up. Is that true?
Yes, yeah, a little family park that is going to be, it's not going to be as big as what we're thinking, you know, in Florida. But yeah, it's going to be great for people who have children and want to just have something new to do over there. And we have the PGA. There's so much to do in Frisco. It's definitely, I actually met with a client yesterday and they want to move to Frisco. And so we're starting that home search. So
I think that because Frisco is just such a wonderful area to be in, and you are such a genuine person, I think that you're going to have a successful year no matter what, just because you're teed up right, and you're just the kind of person that I would want to go to help me buy a house, because I can trust you and I feel like you're going to shoot me straight.
Thank you.
And
I
in
really
Texas,
appreciate that.
We want to be shot straight.
We definitely do. Definitely do.
Let's go ahead and just kind of go over your information. So if anybody out there is interested in moving to Frisco, learning more about Universal Studios or anything that's coming up in the Frisco area, she knows it all.
It's true.
And you might get a free book out of it. But if you don't need real estate, you just want to go to Amazon and buy the book, I highly recommend it. Haven't even finished it. I'm going to finish it. But I mean, it brought me to tears. It's made me, you know, it's gotten into my dreams. And, you know, and I find myself going back to your stories and really appreciating it. And it's made my walk with Jesus a little bit closer. It's made me read a little bit more and think about the scripture more. And gosh, at the end of the day, the goal is just to get in the gate. Am I right? You know,
Yeah.
so I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful for your time. And I want you to like her, and I want you to go out there, and I want you to think of her for your real estate needs. So please give them your information.
So you can, obviously you can buy the book on Amazon. You can reach me. I'm on the internet all over the place. Just look me up. I'm not hard to find. So Stacy Barnes at Century 21 Judge Fite. I did write under a pen name just to keep things
Stacy K.
cool with anybody. The point wasn't to expose anyone for anything that happened. So I just wanted to kind of keep that. So any names are changed or anything like that. But sure. I'm easy to find.
Names have been changed to protect the dummies.
And there's a free workbook in there too. There's a page in here that has a QR code, and if you scan that, then I'll just email you over the workbook. Because some people would like to write things down.
I'm scanning it. You see that there?
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. You know, before we go in closing, you mentioned that you just had a contract go under. I have to touch on Super Home Warranty and let anybody out there know that we have a program called In the Clear. For anybody that is currently purchasing or under contract, you can send the home inspection report to us. We review it, get it back to you within 24 hours, and show you items that may or may not be covered that could cause concern, and you can use that in your negotiations, and it's free of charge. So if that's something that anybody's interested in, that's just one thing that sets Super apart from other traditional home warranties. Had to give them a little pitch there because, you know, they bought the champagne.
Hey, I have an inspection happening right now that I will send over to you when I get it back.
Perfect. You send it all over. The minute you get it, the last one I did, I had it back in 2 hours, but the disclaimer is 24, just so you know. We like to under-promise and over-deliver, right?
I love that.
Just like our partners.
Absolutely.
We're here to make her look good. Anyway, again, you've been a delight. I'm so glad I got to meet you, and I can't wait to finish your book. And I might just want to text you throughout. So I need you to know that I'm that's the kind of person
Absolutely.
I am.
Anytime.
Thank you again for being on the show, and I hope that you have a great year full of success and blessings.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
And everybody out there, thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.
You keep saying you got something for me, something you call